Welcome to 302 Sports Weekly. I am your host, Benny Pinella, alongside Pat Garianis. Thank you very much for joining us here live from Hooters, 136 the Astor Shopping Center in Newark. Of course, we have a lot to get today. We have a special guest. We'll get to him in a second. We also have your recaps of football, volleyball, soccer from this past week in the world of Delaware high school sports. But first, we have to thank, of course, the owners of the Hooters, Gary and Nick, for everything they give us, all the access they give us, and to do this show live here from Hooters every Wednesday at 7. Check it out live on our YouTube channel, or you could be here at 136 the Astor Shopping Center in Newark, Pat.
Exactly right, Benny, and we're live once again every Wednesday at 7 p.m. If you have any highlights, scores, stats, or any other information you would like to see on the show, just contact us at 302sports@gmail.com. Go to the website, 302sports.com, or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at 302sports. On Twitter, of course, we have the weekly poll questions up every week. Get out there, vote on it. You know, the more we can interact with our fans, the better this product can be. And add us on Snapchat at sports_302, or just come down here, like Benny said, at the show, live from Hooters, live here at 136 Astor Shopping Center in Newark.
Thank you very much again for joining us. Right now we have to get to our special guest, Robbie DeMacy from the Muscle Movement Foundation. Thank you very much for being on the show. Mr. DeMacy battled misdiagnosis for 4 years. Diagnosis of myasthenia gravis, which MG is an autoimmune neuromuscular disease which causes fluctuating muscle weakness and fatigue throughout the body. After enduring a difficult journey leading to a definitive diagnosis and enduring the hardships associated with living with muscle disease, he founded the Muscle Movement Foundation in 2012. Robbie, of course, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
So let's talk about, kind of bring the audience up to speed on what the Muscle Movement Foundation is.
Sure. So the Muscle Movement Foundation, as you said, was formed in 2012 after my own personal misfortune of being diagnosed with myasthenia gravis, a form of neuromuscular disease. Since 2012, I had to take it under my own initiative to give back to the over 1 million Americans, fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters in our country who are unfortunately affected by one of the 50-plus different forms of muscle debilitating diseases. So to date, we provide physical, financial, and emotional accommodations to families by way of different athletic teams, different business partnerships, and different events that we hold in and out of the state of Delaware. And I've had the opportunity to have Coach Joey Wright from St. Elizabeth High School here today, who his team has joined our organization for the 3rd consecutive year, playing with the purpose to set muscle disease.
Your story is both enlightening and horrifying as well. To go through misdiagnosis for 4 years, I know it might be difficult to open up some of that memory, but can you kind of take us through what you were going through?
Sure. So for 3.5 to 4 years, I was misdiagnosed by doctors with all psychosomatic symptoms. So anxiety, depression, panic attacks, high levels of stress. So difficulty breathing, trouble walking around the school day, double and blurry vision, trouble simply eating my meals, swallowing my meals, let alone getting through an elite wrestling practice or football game was very troublesome. So subjectively from their point of view, how strong I was perceived and how strong I looked, it was very difficult to nail down a definitive diagnosis. Going into my senior year at St. Mark's High School, I'll never forget, I vividly remember that during the Falston, Maryland game, it was the 2nd year of the season, I took a handoff up the middle for a blast and I simply fell down. Came back to the huddle and my coaches were like, "What's going on, Rob?" And I didn't have an answer for them. Second play, they gave me the rock again, blast up the middle, and I fell down again. Within the next 2 weeks, I completely debilitated, unable to walk, talk, swallow, and breathe, lost 40 pounds, and stayed in and out of the hospital for about 20 days. Throughout those 20 days, as loving as she was, my own mother stayed by my side day in and day out, and on that last day, we ran 2 final tests. The final test, in the next 1 to 3 days, I followed up with my family practitioner and we found out what it was. Finally, the diagnosis, which was myasthenia gravis.
That is unbelievable.
It is. It really is. And I've had the pleasure of knowing Rob. We grew up together,
Yeah.
played sports together, kind of grew up around the same friends. And when the guy says he was a elite athlete, he was. To see him go through that, to hear about this stuff, it was tough. Now, Coach Joe, Coach Wright, you got involved in this your program kind of got involved in this at the jump. You were one of the first people to jump on board. Can you talk about the importance of joining a program like MMF and being a part of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great cause, and, you know, just going back to what Robbie's gone through, I've known the kid his whole life. You know, he's family to me, and, you know, when you hear something that happens to one of the toughest kids I mean, you know, Pat, growing up, you know, one of the toughest kids out there, and to see him go through something like that, you know, it just sort of hits home, you know, especially being, you know, one of your cousins it happens to. So when we got involved at St. Elizabeth's, it was a no-brainer. You know, me and Robbie talked, and we were like, yeah, whatever we can do to help raise awareness. You know, it's been a great cause for our football program, but also our schools embrace it as well, and have done a lot of fundraising efforts through Spirit Week, to Dress Down Days, you know, to change collections, stuff like that. You know, I think the whole St. E's community has sort of embraced the Muscle Movement Foundation and what Robbie stands for. He's done, you know, speeches there to the kids, to the staff and stuff like that. And, you know, it's just a testament to him, his hard work and determination. You know, and that's what we want our kids to, you know, learn from. You know, high school football is great, but there's more than high school football. You know, and so, you know, life's there's a bigger picture in life. And so if we can get the kids to learn, you know, that there's more to life than football, you know, we're doing something right.
Robbie, you got involved with various schools around the state of Delaware, and the one cool thing about it is we have what's called a muscle champion involved with every school.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about perhaps the two muscle champions we're going to see on Saturday?
Absolutely. So, muscle champion, defined by myself and my organization, is an individual living and refusing to lose the neuromuscular disease. The champion mindset that I was able to, fortunately, be able to digest since 5 years old, in wrestling, competing at a national level, and playing football and running track and different sports, you truly develop a champion mindset. You know, overcoming adversity, getting through different obstacles, and just being able to be comfortable working outside of your comfort zone. Our muscle champions, our fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters who are affected by muscle disease wake up every single day, and sometimes their obstacle might be simply brushing their teeth, or getting a shower, or simply using the bathroom. Winning these day in and day out battles is truly amazing. So I wanted to come up with a nice inspirational term to define our survivors, define our fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters in our country, and that term was muscle champion. This weekend, St. Mark's and St. Elizabeth unite for the second annual SAC muscle disease game in Delaware. Coach John Wilson has welcomed a muscle champion named Roman Graham. He's a 3-year-old boy living with hypotonia, which means low muscle tone. Although hypotonia is not a definitive diagnosis of neuromuscular disease, a lot of times the symptoms of hypotonia lead into a definitive diagnosis. We're supporting him, and on the Spartan side, excuse me, on Coach Joe Wright's side with St. Elizabeth Vikings, we are welcoming back muscle champion Max French. He is I think 12 years old this year. He's living with RY/R1 myopathy, which is a muscle disease that causes exercise intolerance and heat intolerance. So sometimes you'll see Max will utilize a wheelchair for his autonomy and independence, and then other times he does okay walking around. So hopefully we'll have a good weekend this weekend, and he'll be able to proudly walk to the 50-yard line with the St. Elizabeth Vikings captains under his own strength. So we'll stay tuned for that.
Robbie, if people want to get involved, how can they get involved? What's your website?
Website is musclemovementfoundation.org. That being said, we are heavy on social media. We make sure we have Instagram, which is at @endmuscledisease. We have Snapchat, which is at MMF Team Muscle Up. Our Twitter is at Move Your Muscles. So we like to cover all platforms, and awareness is very vital to having involvement and raising awareness for our muscle champions in need.
Robbie, your story is inspirational. Thank you very much for all that you've done, and thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you.
We are streaming the St. Mark's St. Elizabeth's game as well. You can, of course, catch that on 302 Sports Weekly.
Saturday night?
Yes, Saturday night. Right now, though, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll have your look at Delaware High School sports on 302 Sports Weekly.
Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create. Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today.
Welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. Thank you very much again, Robbie DeMacy, for stopping by. Amazing movement that is the Muscle Movement Foundation. Right now, though, we're going to get back into sports, talking field hockey here in the state of Delaware, starting with Division II. Again, we're late in the season, so not a lot of adjustments. Conrad, though, getting bumped out of the rankings. Jason, what happened with the team I always mistake for Concord?
Yeah, it was a tough week for Conrad. Their schedule was tough last week. Unfortunately, they came on the lose again a couple times and dropped out of the top 10, but was replaced by St. Mark's, who had a great week. They beat then number 5 Ursuline, and then tied Division I powerhouse Padua 1-1 the other day. So a good week for the St. Mark's Spartans. Gets them in the top 10 for the first time this year. Good time to get in there.
You look at some of the scores. Delmar, of course, shutting out Dover 9-0. Tower Hill defeating Archmere 4-1, along with those St. Mark's scores that Jason just shared with us. Now, the regular season ends tomorrow. State tournament beginning next Tuesday, Jason. Is there going to be any shakeups at all within this last week that you could see happening, or you think this is going to be standing pat through this week?
St. Mark's is a team that interests me. They're coming on strong at the end. Is it going to be enough to give them a state tournament berth or not? Only 12 teams make the Division II state tournament. It's based off of points. They're going to be the team that's going to be interested to see if they get in or not. But I think it's a two-team race between Delmar and Tower Hill. So it'll be interesting to see where everyone's paired up and to see if anybody can give Delmar or Tower Hill a run for their money.
And when it comes to tournament time, anything can happen. Nick, I'm going with you this one. Some upcoming matchups we have: Caravel and Concord. And we have Tower Hill and Friends. Which one of those interests you the most?
I'm going to go with Tower Hill and Friends. Number 2 versus number 6. As Jason was just talking about how good Tower Hill has been all year. And another chance for them to display that tomorrow. And that game is tomorrow at 3. So number 2 versus number 6, that's the one I'm looking at for tomorrow.
Well, we're going to move on now to Division I field hockey. Much the same. Late in the season, not going to see a lot of movement. But, we do have a switch. Appoquinimink in, Caesar Rodney falls out. What did Appo do to earn their way into the rankings?
Appo is on a roll. They've won 6 in a row.
Wow.
After a rough start. They're coming on strong. Beat a couple teams in the top 10 to get in there. Caesar Rodney ran into a hot Delmar team and a hot Cape Henlopen team, and unfortunately fell out this week. But a good show for Appo as they finished the season 10-5, and now they're looking to see if they can be one of the 8 teams in the Division I state tournament.
Yeah, you look at the scores, Jay. Cape Henlopen over Smyrna 3-2. Padua shutting out Ursuline 3-0. St. George's over Polytech 1-0. Middletown and Wilmington Charter played to a 0-0 tie. Once again, playoffs coming up next Tuesday. Anything wild as far as you can see in this last week of play, Jason, or is it going to stand pat?
It's going to be interesting to see how many teams the Henlopen North get in. They've had a strong schedule. Only 8 teams make the Division I tournament, but they're all up there. I mean, you have Dover beat Cape. It's the only team to beat Cape Henlopen in Division I. You have Polytech. You have Smyrna. So the Henlopen North is real strong. It'll be interesting. I want to see how many teams from the Henlopen North make that 18 tournament.
Another top 10 movement is Middletown moving up a little bit. Jason, can you kind of give us some insight on that?
Yeah, Middletown's having a great year. They've only lost once all year. Now they have 4 ties. But their record is really good, and they've played against some strong competition. in the Flight A. So it's going to be interesting to see where they fall in the C line. But a real good year for the Middletown Cavaliers this year in Division I field hockey.
Well, winding things down, we go back to you, Nick, for some matchups. You have number 4 Polytech and Cape Henlopen, and then 7-3 Middletown and Smyrna. That one intrigues me. What intrigues you about it?
Well, that one intrigues me too, but I'm going to, again, go the opposite way and go with Polytech and Cape. Polytech coming off kind of a rough loss to St. George's this week, and this is going to be a big chance for them to bounce back against a really, really good number 1 Cape team tomorrow. So.
Hey, if you can knock out number 1, might be able to get it done in the tournament. When we come back, we're talking soccer on 302 Sports Weekly.
Hey.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroup.re.com. The Hadley Group is your...
Hooters, have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust. Life's too short.
Back to 302 Sports Weekly. Benny Pinella, Pat Garianis, Jason Winchell, and Nick Allison-Draney joining us. Playoff time. Tournament ends, or the tournament begins, I should say, or regular season ends this Thursday for soccer in Division II. And looking at the rankings, not a good time for DMA to fall out. As we look at your top 10, DMA bounced out of the rankings. In comes Newark Charter. Jason, what does this do for the playoff picture?
Yeah, Diamond State Athletic Conference is real strong in soccer. Archmere ended up winning the regular season title the other day. DMA just got in that funk where their season was, their end of the season was filled with these Diamond State Athletic games. And unfortunately for them, they lost a couple of heartbreakers and fell out of the top 10 this week. But I wouldn't count them out necessarily if they can find some way to get in the tournament. Again, only 12 teams make it. Are they one of the top 12? It'll be interesting to see when the seedings come out next week.
You look at some of the scores of the game. Archmere is defeating Newark Charter this week 2-1, and then two shocking upsets perhaps here. You look at Newark Charter shutting out St. Mark's 3-0, and Caravel beating Tower Hill 5-1. It's been shocking here. Archmere and Caravel have been hot as the season winds down. How important is that, Jason, to get into the playoffs? You see it a lot in like hockey in the NHL, getting hot at the right time. Are these two teams to look out for?
Absolutely. Archer's on a roll. They've been on the roll since a game before the trip to Chester, where they were able to beat a Division I team in Wilmington Charter. Since then, they have won out. They won the Diamond State Athletic Conference. Then you got a team like Caravel. They were struggling in the middle of the year. St. Mark's gave them a big loss. And since that game, they've rebounded nicely. And what a win against Tower Hill, 5-1. Tower Hill at the time was ranked 2, and that was a big win. So those two teams are hot at the right time.
We talk about on a roll. We have a couple of games late in the season. D1, D2 matchups, Nick, can be very interesting. We have one in Salesianum and Archmere. One that interests me. Indian River and Laurel.
Yes, absolutely.
2 versus 3. Weird things can happen in those matchups.
Oh yeah, we were talking about 2 versus 3 matches earlier. I love 2 versus 3, and that game is today at 5:30.
Yeah.
So if we could get some updates on that from someone soon, that'd be nice. It's a good game. You should be looking out for it today.
Which one interests you, the Laurel game?
Yeah, Laurel for sure today.
It's going to be very intriguing. We move on to Division 1, where, of course, we talk about Salesianum taking on Archmere. Late in the season, that can affect some things. Also late in the season, Concord getting bumped out. Sussex Central into the top 10. Jason, the playoff picture for Division 1, is it like Division 2, or where it seems like there's a definitive number 1, or is there teams that could possibly sneak up?
Yeah, I think right now Sally's is still the team to beat. They've proved it. They're nationally ranked. They've struck. Appo gave them the game, so I always look for Appo Sally's to be a good one. Wilmington Charter has come on strong. They tied Appo a week ago. They're starting to get hot at the right time. But I think it's probably going to be a 2-team race. But downstate, Cesar Rodney and Cape Penelope are probably going to want to throw their hat into it and see if they can challenge. Cape Penelope kind of got into a late season swoon. Had a couple of their bad games out of the way. And Sussex Central, who just jumped into the top 10, they're on a roll. They just continue to win, so don't count them out if they can somehow find themselves in that top 8.
Yeah, you look at it. Sally's defeats Polytech 2-0. Appo over St. George's 4-2. Indian River over Wilmington Charter 2-0. You talked about Sussex Central, Jason. They've won 6 in a row. Are they going to gather enough points to get into the field? And if they do, again, hot at the right time, or are they going to run into a pretty, dominant Sally's team right away?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. First of all, if they can get in the tournament, and 2, if they draw a Salesianum in the first round, can they match up with them? Sussex Central just got a nice win on Tuesday against St. Mark's. They came up here and they beat St. Mark's, so that's a good road win for them. It'll be interesting to see. They got a tough one coming up against Sussex Tech right there in the season. See if they can. I think that win might be the chance to get them in the tournament.
Nick, I go to you with this one. Game happening today. Number 9 Sussex Tech, number 10 Sussex Central. We'll talk about this game and how much it impacts the rankings.
Well, we said Sussex Central coming and winning 6 in a row, so this is another big game for them. If they're able to win 7 in a row, especially to stay that hot going into the tournament, that could propel them up a decent amount. I will look to see how the other teams do this week, but that's a big one. So for them to be able to win this game, to stay hot going in, that's what they're going to try to do today.
Tweet to us any score updates you have on those games, by the way, at 302 Sports. Right now, we're going to take a step aside. Talking playoffs. It's tournament time for volleyball. We have playoffs. Talking about playoffs. It's tournament time for volleyball. We have that coming up next on 302 Sports Weekly.
You kidding me? Playoffs?
Playoffs?
Scott Cameron.
There's not a game here. Playoffs?
Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the Culinary
Should have that
Coast
clip.
with 10 locations.
Yeah.
We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley. Cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the Culinary Coast with 10 locations from Lois, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. Benny Pinella, Pat Garianis, Jason Winchell, and Nick Alessandrini. To quote the great Jim Morris Sr., we are talking about the playoffs.
You kidding me? Playoffs?
We're talking about volleyball. The state tournament starts November 2nd. The brackets have already came out. The first round of matches, very interesting, Jason, as the graphic force flies on our screen here. Cape Henlopen and DMA. Let's talk about that matchup. That's a very interesting matchup, 17 and 16.
Yeah, and DMA started the year 1-6. Our first-year coach, Jen Johnson, got them to believe, and they came on, won their last 6 matches, and now all of a sudden they're the 16th seed in the tournament, and they're going in the right direction. Cape Henlopen started the year 0-4. 0-4, and they're up there. They've won 10 of their last 11 matches. They get up there in the 17th spot. So
it's a matchup of 2 absolutely resilient teams, Nick.
That's it. Yeah, definitely. Whenever you can start off the season like that and somehow able to turn around and win 7, 8 straight and to get into this tournament this late and stay that hot, that's big time. So we'll see what they can do.
You just got to believe, Pat. You just got to believe.
And you look at the rest of the top of the bracket. Number 24, Brandywine's going to visit number 9, Smyrna at 7 o'clock. And then number 21, Wilmington Christian will take on number 12, Conrad at 7. Now, next 2 teams we're going to talk about, of course, I got a little bit of love for. Number 20, St. Elizabeth taking on Caravel at Conrad, 6 p.m. St. Elizabeth's interesting, Jason. They won 1 game last year.
Yes.
They won 1 game last year.
1 game. They get a new coach, Jerry McCarthy,
and they turn it around.
Play in that tough Catholic conference,
yeah,
which got them a lot of bonus points. So everyone goes, they were 6 and 8. Why are they in the tournament? They're in the tournament because they play a tough elite schedule, and they'll go from 1 win to 6 wins with that schedule that they played. Great job by Jerry McCarthy and those girls for believing that they can play against some of the top teams.
6 losses this year: St. Mark's, Padua, Ursuline. The rest of the teams they played against 6 and 2.
If you're gonna lose 6 matches, those are the teams to lose them to. We're not going to show you a different part of the bracket. Concord versus Appoquinimink. That game will be happening at Red Lion. Nick, there's some interesting matchups in here. Sussex Academy and Red Lion, Friends and Cesar Rodney, Lake Forest and Tatnall. Which one intrigues you the most?
I'm going to stay with the cliche and go with 18 versus 15, the closest matchup on there. Concord, Napo. Anything can happen. We all know that anything can happen in the tournament once you get in, especially when they're 15 versus 18. You know, there's not a lot of wiggle room in between there. Those teams are pretty evenly matched, and it could go either way. So that's the one I'm going to go with.
Appoquinimink's a very good program, Jason.
Yeah, they won the Flight A title, had a really good year. Concord, they beat Concord in the regular season, so it's one of those rematches, the Flight A rematch in the first round at a neutral gym, so it'll be interesting to see. I think that one has the potential to go 5 sets. It might be a race to 15.
All right, we move on to potential second round matchups, Jason. Cape DMA winner will visit number 1 Padua. It'll be played at Salesianum, 6 p.m. Saturday, November 4th for all these games you're about to hear. Brandywine and Cape winner will take on Archmere at Sally, 7 p.m. St. E's Conrad winner at St. Mark's, 6 p.m. Wilmington Christian or Conrad winner, I think that was St. E's plays Caravel, so that typo, my bad. St. E's Caravel winner will go to St. Mark's. Wilmington Christian Conrad winner will face number 5 Delmarva Christian at St. Mark's at 7. Friends CR winner will visit Ursuline at 7. Lake and /Tatnall winner will take Wilmington Charter on at Ursuline. Concord /Appo winner will take on number 2 Tower Hill. Sussex Academy Red Line winner will take on number 7 Indian River at Tower Hill, 7 o'clock. Any upsets you could see potentially in any of these matches, Jason, going into that second round?
I think the Wilmington Christian Conrad winner has a chance to take out Delmarva Christian 5 seed.
Interesting.
Delmarva Christian had a great season, but I think Conrad's strength of schedule and Wilmington Christian's strength of schedule they both played some great matches all year long. I think one of them has the potential to take out a Delmarva Christian.
Interesting.
That'll be very interesting to see what happens there. Moving on to the quarterfinal matches, they take place November 7th. We're not going to get into who's going to play who, but you can basically fill in the blanks there. So interesting things happening coming tournament time with volleyball. We're going to take a step aside when we come back. It's time for football. Pat will have your recap. We'll come back.
Ben, I think we're going to send this to Mike Lang.
Oh, we're going to send this to Mike Lang?
With breaking news. Mike Lang with a little report before we go to break. Let's send it to you, Mike.
This is nifty. Mike, take it away.
All right, thanks, Benny and Pat. We're here at Tower Hill School where the Hillers just finished practice today for their Saturday night matchup against an opponent to be determined. But first, we have the first round, 8 games at 4 different sites. And we'll take a look at some of the more intriguing matchups in round number 1. I like Delaware Military Academy and Cape Henlopen. They play at Smyrna on Thursday night. DMA and Cape both started slowly. Cape lost their first 4 matches. Delaware Military Academy lost 6 of their first 7. They are red hot. They've won 6 in a row. And DMA, one of the hottest teams coming into the tournament. I thought they had a chance at a home match this week. They did not get it, but they will play at Smyrna against Cape. And the winner of that one gets paddled Saturday night at Salesianum. So it'll be an interesting matchup at Sally's on Saturday night as Paddle finds a new playoff home. Another first-round matchup I'm keeping an eye on is Caravel Academy and St. Elizabeth's. They play Thursday at 6 p.m. at Conrad. It should be a great atmosphere out there at Conrad. The Red Wolves play after that one. Caravel and St. E's met during the regular season. They went 5 sets. Caravel squeaked out a 3-2 win. And it was St. E's great strides this year under Coach Jerry McCarthy. They were 1-14 last year. This year they're 6-8 and in the state tournament. And people are wondering how he doing. You play the Catholic Conference, you play Caravel, you play some of the tougher teams. They played a whole bunch of good teams, and don't have them off the top of my head, but St. Louis is in because they deserve to be in. And I think they're going to give Caravel all they can handle. That should be maybe the match of the first round. Another first round matchup that got my attention is Caesar Rodney and friends. They will meet at Tatnall on Thursday at 6 p.m. Caesar Rodney, and coming out of a very talented Henlopen North Conference, the Smyrna, Cape Henlopen, and CR all made it out of the Henlopen North. We also have 3 teams out of the Henlopen South. 6 teams from the Henlopen Conference have made it to the tournament this year. And friends at 5-10 this year. Why are they in? Because they played 12 matches against teams that got them bonus points. They got a little hotter at the end of the season. They have Danny Nathan, and when you have Danny Nathan, you can do a lot of good things. That's the girls here at Tower Hill. They see enough of Danny Nathan. So that should be an exciting matchup in round 1. Round 2 matchups I'm looking forward to. I mentioned Padua with DNA. I think that should be a fantastic match if it happens. Or Cape. I want to leave out the Vikings there. Tyler Coop's done a great job at Cape Henlopen, but I think that could be a great match in the second round. Charter will be hosting the winner of Tatnall and Lake Forest. And that is at Ursuline. Tatnall Charter at Ursuline if Tatnall wins over Lake Forest. But Lake Forest, 11 wins. Don't sleep on the Spartans. And here is the winner of Conrad and Wilmington Christian against Delmarva Christian, the surprise 5 seed. 14-1 this year, the Royals. A big secret to everybody up here north of the canal because we haven't seen them. They did play Caravel and beat Caravel this year. Their lone loss this year was to Indian River. Indian River, we should mention, 14-1, and they are the number 7 seed, so they will be playing on Saturday night. They got a bye in the first round. They will be right here at Tower Hill, Indian River. So a lot of playoff volleyball coming. It's a great time of year for me. I love it. I know these girls are excited. I can tell by looking at them. Calm, and if you can't get out there, you can catch some of the action. The finals, November 13th, Monday night from the Bob Carpenter Center, available on NFHS Network, powered by 302sports.com. And keep your eyes on our social media sites and our website for a schedule of any earlier round games you might catch with me and Jason and Addison Reich and the whole 302 Sports crew. So that's going to about do it here from Tower Hill. I'm Mike Lang, Benny, and Pat, back to you.
Some great insight there on the volleyball playoffs by Mike Lang. Thank you very much for that, Mike.
I'll tell you what, the man knows his volleyball.
He does know his volleyball.
And if you don't listen to anything in that video, you're a fool. The man knows what he's, between him and Jason right here, it's unbelievable. And to have him out in the field right now, it's great.
Hey, we are a news organization officially. We're going to take a step aside. When we come back, we have your look at football. Pat's got your recap from the previous game of the week and much more on 302 Sports Weekly. It's my favorite subject to talk about, football. It's right now on 302 Sports Weekly. Benny, Pat, Jason, Nick. Guys, Division II. It's basically coming down to the wire now. Season's looking like it's just about to wrap up. And right now the rankings look like they're pretty much settled in, Nick.
Yeah, we look down the rankings. Friends, DMA, Caravel, Woodbridge. You see them on your screen. Yeah, we should see. This is a big week, or a couple big games last week. I'll let Pat talk about those. But Woodbridge St. Mark's, the one that we had on 302 Sports, that was as a Spartan, but it's still a big game. But yeah, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it in a second. But Jason, not many adjustments, but we do see St. Mark's suffering for that Woodbridge loss.
Yeah, it was. It's not an easy trip to go down there. But to lose in the fashion that they lost kind of hurts them a little bit. That's back-to-back losses for them. Against two good teams in DMA and Woodbridge, but unfortunately, after that loss to Woodbridge, they had to take the heat because some other teams below them won. So it's a hard place to be in if you're St. Mark's.
Yeah, you look at some of the scores here. Tower Hill continues their impressive season, moving on to 7-1 with a shutout 28-0 victory over Conrad. Friends dominant as ever, 49-7 over St. Andrews, and we talked about the Woodbridge defeating St. Mark's. The top four remains the same. St. Mark's falls out after the loss, while Delmar and Milford move up one spot and Tower Hill 2 spots. Jason, playoffs are right around the corner. What do you see here upcoming in this week that could potentially change some things?
I think the Delmar Milford game this Friday night is going to be a good one. It's see who can match up with Woodbridge and the Henlopen South. In fact, Milford already beat Woodbridge. So if Milford can get by Delmar, they're going to be your Henlopen South champs in your automatic bid, you would think. So that's a good job by them. But it's a big matchup for both teams. Delmar, 7-1. Not many people know about them, but they're a really, really good team, and they're having a fantastic season. Now they get to go and match up against Milford.
And I believe that's going to be run on 302 Sports with our down south crew, Benny Mitchell and the gang. So check in and tune into that one.
Yes, it's the Henlopen Conference game of the week.
Milford and Delmar.
Another game that's going to be on 302 Sports is St. Mark's, St. E's at Baynard Stadium. It's a fun stadium to play in, Baynard Stadium. We got a chance to play, and Pat got a chance to play in there. What's it about Baynard Stadium that just make it so much fun?
It kind of just reminds me of, like, you watch big college football games on TV. When you're playing at Baynard Stadium, just the aura around you, all the fans, the bleachers, it's kind of you're playing in a big game on that field.
Yeah, not to mention that it's going to be the Muscle Movement Foundation game. That's going to bring a little added juice to it, and it's going to be fantastic. We're going to see Coach Wright down there and Rob DeMacy as well. It's going to be a fun thing to be a part of, guys. Definitely tune into that one.
Yes, a great foundation is the Muscle Movement Foundation. All right, the 302 Sports unofficial pairings. The tournament started today. Delmar and AI DuPont. AI DuPont would be number 1, Jason.
Yeah, well...
Did you ever think in 2017 you would say AI DuPont is going to be number 1?
Number 1. They get the tiebreaker over Tower Hill and DMA, so they would be your 1 seed if the tournament started today. And that is a feat. And then we've mentioned Delmar. Delmar is one of the hottest teams now. That could be an interesting first round 8 versus 1 matchup.
It could. And then
the rest... Vin Scully said in a season of the improbable, the impossible has happened.
Yep.
Rest of those seeding pairings look as this. Number 7, Howard would visit number 2, DMA. Number 6, Woodbridge would go to Tower Hill. And number 5, Friends would visit number 4, Milford. DMA, we've talked about them every week, Jay. Is this team going to be able to do this? Are they going to be able to make the run that they've been waiting for since the school opened?
I think so. Their defense has been incredible this year. They've held some good offensive teams down, and then when you got Aline in the backfield, anything's possible with that team. And Coach Jerry Ryan, he always has that offense purring at the right time. And they've had a good season offensively. That's a team I think that can take it all the way.
Nick, I go to you with this one. We have Friends versus Milford. Friends, a very tough team, but Milford, of course, the upset kids beating Woodbridge. Does that game intrigue you at all?
Yeah, it does. I've had a chance to see Friends play earlier this year, and Milford as well. Milford, as we said, able to beat Woodbridge back then, and now just been rolling ever since. So Milford, they're ranked to 4. Friends would be 5. Yeah, I think that would be a really good game for those two teams.
Shout out to Jason Seville, who plays for Friends, by the way.
One thing to keep an eye on, Benny. It's been so competitive in Division II this year. There's 12 teams within reach of a state tournament berth. Conrad, St. Mark's, Caravel, and Archmere, all outside looking in. I'll throw this up to everybody. Archmere playing Division I Wilmington Charter this week. That's a 6-point game. Can any of these teams sneak in and dethrone perhaps one of those, last 3 seeds?
Yeah, Caravel's got a lot of bonus points coming their way as teams start getting some 7 and 9 wins. So look for them to get some points late in the year. They also have a key matchup with Glasgow coming up, so that will be interesting to see. Another team is St. Mark's. They have an opportunity. They have Salesianum a chance, if they win, a 6-point opportunity for them too.
The Spartan in me wants to say St. Mark's, and I'm sure it does for you as well. But you lose to Woodbridge. You've lost 2 straight. It's been a rough season. I think Archmere has a chance to really come in. Archmere's a tough football team. They play a lot of teams very difficult. They can pull out a win this week. I see them getting in.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Well, we're going to move on to Division I. Before we do that, though, Pat, we have your recap of our game last week. Spotlight game of the week, Dover versus Polytech. Not exactly going down how we thought it was going down, but still an entertaining game nonetheless. Pat, I toss it over to you.
You're exactly right. Dover really came out and asserted their will in this one. We're going to roll right to the video right away. And it starts off with one man and one man only. That's Devon Peace. He starts off this incredible day that he has with a 90-yard return on the opening kickoff for a touchdown as Dover takes the 7-0 lead. Look at him go. Beautiful sideline view there by our own Nick Alessandrini capturing this one on his phone. Fantastic. You can catch that on the social media page right now. We move it on. Still early in this one. Peace again finds his way into the end zone, this time from the backfield. A 20-yard touchdown. Dover up 14-0 early in this one, and it wouldn't stop, Benny. You're a country guy. When it rains, it pours. And Devon Peace was a Category 5 hurricane in this one. This run comes from 37 yards out for his third of 5 touchdowns in this one. 21-0 with just under a minute to play in the opening quarter. Do you like that reference, man? I know you're a country guy. When it rains, it pours,
Luke Combs.
That's it. Now just right before half, Peace bounces it. Look at this. Look at off the would-be tacklers. Keeps his feet churning. And he goes down the sideline. Touchdown. That's a top play worthy. We'll see that later on in the show. 28-0. Dover on top big time. Now we move on to second half action. And what we're going to see here, Ben, is some trickeration from Coach Rudy Simonetti. He reaches deep in the playbook here on the 2nd and 17 play. The old double halfback reverse pass. Eden Davis hits the wide open Gabe Evans for the touchdown. 35-0 Senators on top. Polytech, though, does get some positivity. We got to give the Panthers some love. Nice play here is Vincent Tassione hits the open Tucker Reed for the score. 35-7 as the Panthers would take their only trip to the end zone in this one right there. And to complete this one off, look, we all just want some peace for Christmas. That's all we want. Devon Peace cruises into the end zone for a touchdown, number 5, to bring us to our final as Dover moves to 2-6 on the year with an impressive 42-7 victory over the now 5-3 Polytech Panthers. The Twitter poll said it was coming.
I have to say, Twitter poll aside, I was absolutely stunned by the outcome of that game, Nick.
Yeah, that game, from the start, you could feel the energy in there. It was Dover's homecoming, and right from the start, Peace was back there, took it to the house off the opening kickoff, and they just kind of rode that wave throughout the whole game.
Unbelievable how one special teams play, Jason, can change the entire outlook of the game.
Yeah, and it really did. Right from the opening kickoff, they take it to the house, and then a couple possessions later, a bad pump from Polytech gives Dover good field position and capitalize again. So when we talk about it being all 3 phases of the game, Dover had all 3 phases of the game working for them that night.
Well, in the end, that game doesn't really help Dover. Severely hurts Polytech. They dropped to 8th in the rankings. No one's getting bumped out. We do see Sussex Tech hanging in there at 3-5. The rest of the rankings are pretty much straightforward. You have William Penn moving up from 7 to 6. It's a very top-heavy bracket. But Sussex Tech at 3-5. What have they done to really keep themselves in?
Yeah, they've had the tough schedule. They've played Smyrna, Salesianum, Sussex Central, all three teams up in the top 5 of the rankings. So there's 3 of their 5 losses. They have some good wins. Like you said, it's really top heavy this year. So, and when you're playing those top teams, they're going to put losses on you and make your record not look as good as it is. But I think Sussex Tech is a dangerous 3-5 team.
You look at some of the scores here, Benny. Of course, 42-7 in our spotlight game of the week. But Central, that's Sussex Central, defeating Cape 28-6. Westminster, Maryland, they are now 9-0. They're out of Baltimore. They defeat Salesianum 30-20. Hodson rolls over St. George's Tech 41-7. Now, Hodson's a team to me, Jason. I've seen them in person now twice. They are extremely impressive. Yet they still sit at number 5. What do they got to do to potentially pass maybe a Central or a Smyrna? Is there anything they could do in a regular season to do so?
Yes.
Or is it only a playoff?
Yes, I think they do. And it's going to come the last week of the season when they travel to Middletown. That is going to be for the Flight A title. Yes. We'll find out right away. I think physically they match up well against that Middletown team. Like you said, you've seen them. They're big up front. They got a big running back. They are old school. They will run you to death. What they're going to have to do is stop the Middletown passing game. Can they do that? If they can, I think if they can stay in there with Middletown, I think they can bump up in the rankings.
There you go.
We'll take a look at the upcoming schedule. We have Sussex Central and Cesar Rodney, that one happening Friday night. We also have Sussex Tech and Polytech, seeing if Polytech can get back to their winning ways and find a way to get that elusive 6th win. Most wins in team history. I believe it's the most teams in team history. And we also have our spotlight game of the week, Smyrna versus Sally's, and then Middletown and Concord on Saturday. A lot of interesting games there. What intrigues you the most there, Nick?
Yeah, we got a great set of games this weekend. Like we said, Sussex Tech and Polytech. Polytech, they need to rebound big time after what happened to them in Dover last week. And we've been talking about Sussex Tech and what, with their schedule and what they've been able to do. So that's a big game. But, I mean, we all know number 3 Smyrna versus number 2 Sally's is, a huge game. And we'll have that game live on 302 Sports. But how can you not be excited for that one?
Well, talking about Polytech and Sussex Tech, technically, it would not be in the playoffs right now if they started today, according to our rankings.
Fantastic.
The official seedings right now, we see Middletown and Sussex Central getting a bye. Cesar Rodney having to play Hodson. Salesianum, the 5th seed, on the road at Hodson.
Points, right?
Yeah, and last week they were a 3 seed when we did it. So that one loss changes everything. I mean, they did get a couple bonus points because Westminster's 9-0, but everyone else wins for 6 points, and you only get the 2 points. It hurts Salesianum this week. Now they got a game against Smyrna and St. Mark's coming up, and some other bonus points potentially out there. Middletown wins its 9th game. So, like we said, it's unofficial, but what a matchup. We got that game this week, and it could be a potential first-round matchup, but this time down in Smyrna.
Yeah, you look at it, Penn and Polytech, they're just outside looking in. They could potentially win. They can get 2 wins to end the year off, and one of these teams falls off, they could replace them. One thing that Sally-Smyrna matchup could bring, rematch between Smyrna and Central. I said it now. This is the 2nd week in a row I've said it. There's some kind of bad blood there. That could be interesting to keep an eye on. Let's see how this thing shakes out.
Yeah, like you said, the rivals, and there's bad blood there. So that's going to be interesting. And they could meet in the semifinals, so it could be interesting.
Nick, of the 5 teams besides Middletown, which one do you think has a chance to knock off the number 1 team in the playoffs?
I'm going to go Smyrna. I think whenever you have Will Knight on your team, he can break one off at any moment. 70, 50, 60. We've seen him do it from anywhere on the field. And when you have that type of firepower on offense, he can beat anybody.
I agree. It was 35-28 week 1, and Isaiah Wilson's playing better. He's starting to pick things up at the quarterback position. That could be an interesting thing down the stretch.
Also to think Will Knight has gotten even better since week 1 as well. Speaking of Smyrna, they're facing Sally's this weekend. That's our spotlight game of the week. We'll have that for you when we come back on 302 Sports Weekly.
Opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique image, you envision, we create. He began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today.
Real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroupre.com.
Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
Welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. It's time to talk about our spotlight game of the week, Pat. Smyrna at Baynard Stadium against Salesianum. Talking about Baynard Stadium getting some marquee matchups this season.
Dude, this game is going to be packed. Brand new rivalry here.
Yes, this is one of the new up-and-coming rivalries in the state of Delaware. And we're talking about it right now, but first we have our look at the Twitter poll. Nick, last time you saw it, what was the results?
Yeah, so just a couple of minutes ago, I gave it a look, and right now it's Smyrna 63%, Sally's 37%. Phew. So I'm sure that's going to narrow up as the week goes on, but right now it's looking heavy Smyrna. And we know what the Twitter polls have, the outcome has been in the past with the Twitter polls.
Yeah, they've been pretty accurate.
Our fans are pretty good. There's never a time where social media can tell the result of the game. It's been with the Twitter poll at 302 Sports on Twitter if you want to vote. The history of this matchup has been...
It's incredible.
It has been, because it's a newfound rivalry, fairly one-sided, but all of these games have been scoreboard-breaking games, Jason.
Yeah, and it started with the first one in 2015, that 76-56 Salesianum victory.
I was there.
Colby Reeder rushed for, I believe, 9 touchdowns in that
How many
game.
times did a football game put up more points than a basketball?
I was going to say, Sally's used to only score 76 points in a season.
Yeah, and now they put that up in one game, and that was the only time they played at Baynard Stadium, so Sally's came out with that 20-point lead. Of course, Smyrna got the revenge in the state championship game that year. Zach Wynn comes in for the injured Cannon, and that was his first career start. Throws for 2 touchdowns in the first half to give Sally's the halftime lead. Smyrna, Will Knight scores to tie the game at 26, and then in overtime, Knight scores. Smyrna takes home their first state championship, 32-26. And then last year was all Smyrna at Smyrna, as they put up 60 points on the Sal's defense. Sally's put up 26. So it has the potential. Get there early, because that scoreboard will be lighting up quickly in that one.
Or watch it live on 302 Sports on YouTube, where, of course, you not have to be out there with the cold weather. It's going to be pretty cold come Friday night, and that's, I think, it's going to be an impactful game. So, all right, let's talk about this game. Smyrna, Sally's. People think Smyrna has the edge, but do they really, Nick?
I mean, you never know. You can never tell, especially with the game and 2-1, like we talked about the last 3 matchups. It could go either way. Like I said, both teams playing really well this year, 2 versus 3. I don't want to be responsible for picking the winner for that one. So.
It's going to be interesting, Jason, because Salesianum's always a great defensive team, and again this year they are. There's one guy you got to contain for the most part in Smyrna. They got other weapons, but the main guy is Will Knight. What do the Sal's have that can prevent him potentially from going off?
Will Knight is fast and athletic, and so you have to gang tackle. You can't, if it's one-on-one, Knight's going by you and he's going to the house.
Yes.
So you have to have the mentality of sending everyone out, and you have to get him down. Don't let him break those tackles. You have, when you wrap him up, you have to tackle him. It's going to be a very tough task for the Salesianum defense, but this will be the fourth time they've seen him in the last 3 years. So maybe they can figure it out this time.
We know Will Knight as far as Smyrna. Anybody else on Smyrna that we think we should watch as far as a key player goes?
It should be interesting to see Smyrna's defense.
Okay.
They've had some good games recently after that early season struggle, giving up a lot of points. Let's see what they can do against the Salesianum offense that's doing a good job of running the ball this year. We saw how well they ran against Middletown in the first half. So let's see if that Smyrna run defense can stop Salesianum's running game.
So we talked about keys for Smyrna and some key players there. What about for Salesianum? You know, when you play Smyrna, you got to be able to score points. What does Carson Salvo have to do, and what other players does the Salesianum have that can put up some points?
Yeah, I think this one, like I said, Zach Gwynn made his first career start against Smyrna and threw for 2 touchdowns. He threw those 2 touchdowns by going to his tight end because they were running the ball real well. So if they get that running game going, watch that play-action pass. That's where Gwynn's at his best. He looks for Garrett Million out of the backfield, and he also has a good target in Sean Reagan. Watch those 2 guys this week. I think Gwynn is going to have to throw a couple touchdown passes for a Salesianum victory.
He's capable. He's got a big arm. This kid's got a big arm.
All right, let's predict a point total here. Over or under 90 points total?
I think Vegas set it at 89.5. So we got to keep that in mind.
Vegas? People got money on this game?
Well,
it's our spotlight game of the week, Smyrna Salesianum. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we have your final rundown, your sprint to the finish, Pat, talking Delaware college sports and some athletes as well in 302 Sports Weekly.
Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley. Cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lewis, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. Once again, our spotlight game of the week, Smyrna versus Salesianum. Check that out on our YouTube channel at 302 Sports. Pat, now it's time for us to talk about what the Blue Hens were up to, buddy.
Oh, the Blue Hens. It's a shame. It was a tough one, Benny. This one was a tough one to swallow. UD football just 1 week after such an emotional high and a double overtime victory over Richmond vaulted the Blue Hens into the top 25. Heartbreak this week as the number 23 ranked Blue Hens gave up a touchdown in the final minute and dropped 18-17 to Towson. Towson came into this one, I believe they were 3-5 coming into this one. It's a tough pill to swallow. It was at Johnny Unitas Stadium.
They lost 4 straight, Towson did, up until that win.
Yeah, it's unreal. Now, Delaware Junior Knight came from Sussex Tech. He was somewhat of a positive in this one. He led all runners, 113 yards on 22 carries, and his second consecutive 100-yard effort. Defensively for Delaware, senior defensive tackle Bilal Nichols of Hodgson finished with a team-high 9 tackles, while junior linebacker Troy Reeder, formerly of Salesianum, also added 8. UD looks to get back on their winning ways, and they're going to have to probably win out if they want to make the playoffs. They travel to Maine to take on the Black Bears at 2 p.m. on Saturday. Justin Perilla, former Black Bear mate. So let's see what they can do.
They say 7 wins put you on the fringe, 8 get you in. We'll see if UD can win out. Well, a week after its 18-game MEAC winless streak was snapped, the Hornets dropped one to North Carolina Central 42-14 on homecoming Saturday for the Eagles at O'Kelly Riddick this afternoon. DSU hits the road to take on Savannah State on Saturday.
Well, hopefully the other homecoming activities were fun for the Hornet students.
Hopefully.
Now we move on to Wesley. The number 14 ranked Wesley College football team took down the Montclair State Redhawks 26-7 on the road in an NJAC contest on Saturday. Wesley went into halftime trailing Montclair State 7-3 after a Redhawks scoring drive 55 seconds before the end of the half. Wesley proceeded to score 23 unanswered points in the second half to overwhelm Montclair State and seal the victory. Stephon Woodruff, St. George's alum, led the defensive line with 2 sacks and a quarterback hurry. Wesley ends their season with 2 home games. They'll host Salisbury for an afternoon kickoff this Saturday.
Wesley is for real. I'm telling you, they are absolutely for real. All right, Wesley volleyball's for real as well. Senior outside hitter Tiana Graves-Brown picked up her 1,000th career kill for Wesley College, the volleyball team, as the Wolverines, they fell in 4 sets, 16-25, 19-25, 25-17, and 15-25 to Salisbury Seagulls. Last Wednesday, Lindsey Berg from Conrad dished out 15 assists and dug out 6 attacks. Wesley ends their volleyball season at 15-3 and 8th in the CAC. The conference record of 2-7, not good enough to get them in the playoffs, but still a successful season nonetheless.
Yeah, and then we move on to Goldie Beacom, the Lightning, the ladies soccer team. Alana Speaks, of my former alumni as well, St. Elizabeth, has put forth a solid freshman campaign that allowed her to be named the CACC Women's Soccer Rookie of the Year, making her one of 3 on the squad in the league. That's a misread right there. Speaks was also picked first team all-conference, Benny. Speaks has been an incredible addition who has impressed many with her incredible goal-scoring skills. Also, soon to be a member of the basketball squad, Speaks this fall is 23rd in the country with 12 goals, 31st in the country with 28 assists, and tied for 4th on the school's single-season list in goals, 5th overall in points. Impressive performance by Speaks.
Soccer and basketball?
She did it at St. East. This girl, she's not bad at basketball either now. She can move a little bit.
Interesting.
Hopefully she does a little bit better on the court than I did reading there.
You're too much, man.
You know?
Goldie Beacom volleyball, they swept its tri-match with a big 3-0 CACC win against Georgian Court. Then a pair of 3-0 non-league wins over Bowie State. That happened this past Saturday in Lakewood, New Jersey. Jada Canteen from Red Lion had 10 kills. Sydney Fulton contributed to 19 assists. And fellow freshman Morgan Andrews from DMA added 14 digs. This was yesterday. The Lightning fell in 5 sets to Wilmington. Brianne Haley had a game-high 24 kills with Jax Babitsky, adding 15 kills. Fulton notched 3 serve aces, and Mackenzie Balderson had 20 digs. Those were game highs for the Lightning as well. Goldie opens a 2-game homestand Friday against Holy Family.
Interesting. We'll see. Good luck to the Lightning there. Now we move on to Shepherd University, a former Spartan over there.
College athletes here, yeah.
That's it. Jabri Lally, 11 rushes for 49 yards and a touchdown, 2 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown, 2-touchdown day for Jabri Lally. And then DJ Cornish, formerly of Lake Forest. 6 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown.
That was impressive there for DJ Cornish. Nothing happening in the world of West Virginia football, but Pat, I think you're really excited to talk about this. We actually get a highlight here of Quadri Henderson.
You're not a highlight. Let me tell you, this is something to get used to. Former AI Tiger Quadri Henderson, the Pitt Junior All-Purpose Player, has been named the Atlantic Coast Conference's Specialist of the Week for his performance in the Panthers' 31-14 victory over Virginia this past Saturday. Wait till you see this return. Look, you can see it behind you right now. Henderson once again showcased his explosive ability as a return specialist when he took the punt 75 yards for a touchdown against the Cavaliers, eluding numerous defenders down the right sideline. The Squirrel, as they like to call him. His touchdown gave Pitt a commanding 21-0 lead in the second quarter. It was his 3rd punt return touchdown of Henderson's career and his 2nd this season. He owns Pitt's record 7 kick return touchdowns overall, 4 coming off kickoffs, a consensus All-America return man last year. Henderson is only 1 kick return touchdown shy of the national record of 8, held by 9 different players, including Clemson's former player C.J. Spiller. He's the most recent to do so. This is the 2nd time this season Henderson has been honored as the ACC Specialist of the Week. He was initially honored following the September 23rd Georgia Tech game when he had an 80-yard punt return for a touchdown for his career. Henderson has earned the ACC's Weekly Specialist honor 7 times. Wow. Big things coming from the AI graduate.
Is this another potential Devin Hester?
This is another. If he's got a chance in the NFL, there's no doubt about it. As a returner, this guy's got the goods.
Well, we'll have to see where he comes in the 2018 draft. Is what he probably would.
He's a junior this season, so he's eligible to come out after this year. We'll see what happens.
2019, yeah. We'll see what Quadri does. Anyway, well, now it's time for our Delaware Athletes of the Week. We have Danielle Nathan, the Friends Junior. She rocked it last week. 3 great matches against top 10 teams. 97 kills, 8 aces, 6 blocks, 37 digs to lead the Quakers. We also have Javon Peace.
Oh, God.
There's something peaceful about this guy. Dover sophomore had a fantastic game for our 302 Spotlight Game of the Week. He returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown, rushed for over 200 yards, and scored 2 more touchdowns, like a ton of them, in Dover's win against Polytech. And now, though, it's time for our top 5 plays of the week. Pat?
Yes, that's exactly right. We are going to look right at it early and often in this one, Benny. We're going to start here with number 5, Joseph Delgado, the flea flicker to the 1-yard line for Caesar Rodney. You'll see it right here. CR goes in motion, and whoop! They throw the flea flicker. I haven't seen that since the McNabb days. Wide open. Almost a touchdown. Gets down inside the 5-yard line as the Riders up 14-0 in that one.
Well, yesterday was Halloween, so I do like our tricks and treats here. This is a one-trick play for the Bucks. Another.
It's a trick and a treat, Ben.
It's a trick and a treat. A halfback pass for a touchdown. Dover crushing Polytech, 35-0.
That's incredible. Number 3, it's Javon Peace once again, Ben.
It's a treat.
Wait till you see this run. You saw it earlier. This is reminiscent of another guy in blue back in the day. Remember Barry Sanders, Ben?
Yes, I do.
That's literally like a spitting image of a Barry Sanders run. Keeps the feet churning, doesn't go down. And look at this at the end. Little. It was very subtle, but it was definitely a touchdown celebration. Once again, you talked about Dover's dominance. It's Javon Peace with the dominance in this one.
Like I said, call it the peacekeeper, I guess, the best way to put it. Julian Trammell for Caesar Rodney. Pick 6. This was impressive. Read the pass right, underthrown ball, but the return is what's really impressive for Trammell. Getting the block.
Oh, boy, talk about a block, Ben. That could have been a top play itself. Road grader.
Caesar Rodney. Big lead there would take the win.
Impressive. That looked like Jalen Mills for a second.
Did.
The Green Goblin. Coaches coming down, celebrating big time.
We were talking about it. Now you get to see it. 94-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Credit Nick Alessandrini for the footage here. This is big time.
Now this is big time camera work by Alessandrini. Look at the run. I mean, it just finds the seam and goes, Benny. Finds the seam and goes.
It was across the field. He got it towards the middle of the field, went all the way around to score.
Dare I say, looked like Quadri Henderson on that. There's a plug.
Just saying.
Shout
He's
out to
just a
Nick
sophomore.
Hall. He's a big Tigers fan. Every time I bring up AI, he's over there clapping. There he is. There he is.
That is our show. We'll see what Javon Peace ends up developing into. Just a sophomore. Very impressive for Dover. But that is our show for you today. 302 Sports Week. Again, our game of the week. Smyrna versus Salesianum live from Baynard Stadium. Check it out on YouTube at 302 Sports. Follow us on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, all of it. Like us on Facebook,
Hey.
302 Sports.
Also check out, again, St. Mark's, St. Elizabeth,
Yes.
Saturday night at Baynard, that Muscle Movement Foundation game. Again, thanks to Robbie DeMacy and Coach Wright for coming down today. It's very special to be a part of that and bring light to that foundation.
Great thing happening Saturday. That will also be on 302 Sports as well. Well, for myself, Benny, Pat and Benny show. We'll be talking to you next week. Take care.
Nice plug.